It was a sad day for the Gifford Park neighborhood. A beloved neighborhood mascot, if you will, dubbed Old Yeller, sidelined for good by an accident. The big yellow truck was like a community center on wheels. Its age means its owner won't get what it's worth in insurance because, frankly, the truck is priceless to him. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Julia Nagy has the story of a truck.
There's a famous movie, Stripes, Bill Murray in Stripes, where he gives that famous speech to his army platoon about, who cried when Old Yeller died. And then people kind of raise their hand. They admit that they did cry when Old Yeller died. So I don't want to get over dramatic, but it's sad that the truck, it's kind of an icon in the neighborhood. It's almost like a, kind of a distant family member to me because it's meant a lot. We called it Old Yeller because it was a yellow truck and an old yellow truck. Because we're a really close-knit neighborhood here in Gifford Park, it was just kind of a natural that, if I share my truck, other people would, they volunteer for neighborhood association activities and they help out on projects that I'm involved with. So it's really kind of a sharing of resources and the truck is just another resource or a tool. Well, the accident happened 2 weeks ago and my truck was out on the street, and about 5 o'clock I heard a big crash. I was inside my house. I looked outside and I saw that a vehicle had crashed into my neighbor's SUV across the street. That crashed into my truck. My truck then crashed into the vehicle in front of it. My truck got sandwiched between the other two vehicles. That's the trouble, is everybody loses in an accident, unfortunately. But I'll get another truck. It'd be nice if it was yellow, but it doesn't have to be yellow.
Old Yeller first belonged to Peter Kiewit Corporation. Chris bought it through a program Kiewit had for its employees. He wants to find a truck that's new enough to work, but old enough to handle the wear and love. Another group is fanning out across neighborhoods with a goal to help homeowners discover any issues with their houses.
We have sick kids in the community, and lead poison is a real thing, and many people don't know about it. And so unless you are aware and you get your home tested for lead, you won't know what's going on in your home.
Omaha Healthy Kids Alliance goes into homes giving free assessments for things like asbestos, the potential for carbon monoxide in the house, and asthma triggers like mold or poor indoor air. They also search older homes for lead-based paint. Yesterday, they held their annual fundraiser, the Run-D 5K. So if you saw people sprinting through Dundee in their underwear, you now know why. About 60,000 people who are blind or visually impaired called Nebraska and Iowa home. Now one woman is focused on finding ways to help them get social, active, and independent. 3 News Now reporter Lindsay Thies shows us Outlook, Nebraska.
Melissa Saltzman has been blind since birth, but she says her story doesn't begin there.
My story begins in a baby carrier on the back of my parents' bicycle when I was 3 years old. And we would go biking around the neighborhood, and I loved the breeze blowing in my face. I loved everything about biking.
That passion has pedaled on into adulthood.
This is amazing.
Since May, Melissa has coordinated a handful of tandem bike rides through Outlook, Nebraska. The nonprofit aims to positively impact those who are blind or visually impaired. Part of the way they do that is at their Omaha-based warehouse. It converts recycled paper products. The other part of that is through enrichment programs like the Tandem Bike Club.
When you are visually impaired, you a lot of times will be isolated, or you might not think that you can do a physical activity. We wanted to give people an opportunity to get out and do a physical activity.
Basically, a tandem bicycle is a bike built for two. In the front, you have your sighted person, which is the captain, and in the back, you have your blind person, and that's called the stoker.
From there,
3, 2, 1, go.
Communication between the two riders is key. To date, 9 bikes, more than a dozen riders, and hundreds of miles of smiles have made up the rides. It's all based on donations, and sure, Melissa says they could always use more.
Shows you what you can do when you put your mind to it.
But most importantly, it's that breeze, that feeling that comes up on 2 wheels.
Do you think you're an inspiring person?
I try to be an inspiring person. I love getting out there and helping people make a difference in their lives.
I'd say she's definitely an inspiring person. The group has a ride coming up in September. A truly inspiring story. A quick drive down the I-80 and it's evident that corn and soybeans rule the fields of the Good Life state. But a new type of cash crop has popped up in the minds of UNL researchers, and the idea is starting to grow. That's next when Omaha Sunday Morning continues.